to rise up today, your hunger level for God. Don't just ask for a sip. Elisha said, no, sir, I don't just need a cup. I need double cup. Can you say double cup? Double cup. Are you hungry? How many of you are thirsty and you are pulling away from your refrigerator? I don't know. It's an oxymoron. If you are hungry, you draw closer to the refrigerator. Amen? You don't just draw closer. You open the refrigerator if you are thirsty. Somebody tell you, no. Say, man, I'm thirsty. I'm dehydrated. I got to drink. I said, dear, pants after the water. That's what the Bible says. I thirst after you. Nothing can stop me. You can't hold me. Leave my rear alone because I got to go. I'm thirsty for God. I thirst for you. And if you are thirsty, if you are hungry for God, it's going to be every muscle in you will depict that. God is looking for people that will be desperate. They need God. They are thirsty, they are hungry for God. And they are willing to pay any price whatsoever so that they can enter into the place where God is. And nothing shall stop them. Because God will see their desperation as they are approaching, as they are coming, drawing closer to God. The Bible says, God will do what? He will draw closer to them. That's what the book of James says. Draw closer to me, and I will draw near to you. Draw near to me, I will draw near to you. Some of us say we are desperate for God, and we are pulling back away from God. If you are desperate, you're supposed to pull forward. Amen? You're supposed to advance forward. Amen? The next level about religion and relationship is obedience. What I'm talking about is the relationship, is to replacement religion. Obedience and absolute surrender to God's will. General William Booth, the founder of Salvation Army, said, the greatest of man's power is the measure of his surrender. Think about it. The greatest of man's power is the measure of his surrender. Not the measure of what he has done or what he could do, but the measure of his surrender to the will of God. 1 Samuel chapter 15 verse 22 and 23. I always like to mention that whenever I talk about obedience because it's like the blueprint of obedience. It says to obey is better than sacrifice. You know, some of us want to appease God, want to make God feel good. We think we can buy him over. We think we can bribe God. We think we can make him feel good by our sacrifice instead of obedience. One act of obedience is better than 1,000 sermons. And no ton of sacrifice or work can take the place of an ounce of obedience. Amen? Amen. So obedience is the key word. If we are going to be in relationship with God, there must be obedience. Are you connecting to what I'm saying now? We should be, not that we should not just surrender to his will, but we should obey. Amen. The difference between the new wine and the old wine, the new wineskin and the old wineskin, is obedience. That's the difference. Because the old wineskin, they said, this is the way God did it 20 years ago. And he is still going to do the same thing the same way today. But the new wineskin said, even though God did it the same way last year, he could be doing something new. But watch this. God does not contradict his word. The new wineskin, they follow God. They move at the pace of God. They are on the same frequency with God. When God moves, they move. When God stops, they stop. When God takes a U-turn, they take a U-turn. They move at the pace of God. They obey God at every signal. They don't believe that God has finished speaking. The old wineskin says God doesn't speak anymore. The new wineskin says God is still speaking. If your God has still ceased speaking, he is an idol. I got a God. I heard him this morning. He speaks every day. There is a God that is alive. He speaks every day. He wants to direct us. He speaks more than we can hear.